Hey guys, I know the room seems smoky, but start of winter season here in Australia, so there was a lot of wood burning fires, and yeah, it's hard for asthmatics. Even though I live in an area that's not supposed to have wood burning fires, still does. So, firstly, look, no dressing gown, no dressing gown. And not in the middle of the night, which I usually do middle of the night videos. That's partly with being an insomniac and not wanting to waste that time that I'm awake. So I had an appointment today that I wanted to raise because this is the first time that a doctor had actually raised the mental health of recovery, which those that follow me will know that I mentioned in my last video. And um, he was the first doctor I've come across that's actually acknowledged this void that you get. Now, um, he acknowledged it for all cancers, but he acknowledged it specifically for the cancers I've had. So even though I am post menopause, we still have hormones. We're not the same hormones, but we still have hormones. Because all my cancers were female cancers, that's areas that produce a lot of the hormones that we um, we use just to function. Now, one of the reasons that I wanted to share that, so because this is really relevant for people that have breast cancer, ovarian cancer, cervical cancer, by doing chemo and radiation and surgery on those areas, they've essentially removed a huge amount of areas that would naturally produce hormones. And one of the problems by doing that is it can severely affect your mental health. And then the few hormones you do actually naturally produce, they need to repress to prevent, specifically with breast cancer, the hormone related cancers being able to come back. And it was nice to actually hear a medical professional mention it, because I haven't heard a medical professional mention it previously. It has been wisdom from friends and wisdom from other people and wisdom from other people that have been through this process. So it's nice to know that someone is mentioning it. I wish more doctors were mentioning that this is why or this is what happens, because it's like, okay, you're better, bye. Okay, that was the first point. The second point I wanted to raise is there's a dissociation between my brain and my body. My brain is like, I'm better, I'm fine, I want to do everything. My body's like, I'm going for a nap, see ya. And my brain's like, but. The best thing that has happened to me is work's picking up. Work, I love my work. It is my energy, it's my food, it's my inspiration. And so with um, with this process, when I first was classed as cancer free, I was like, I'm going to take over the world. I'm going to do all the things I've missed doing. I'm going to do this. I'm going to do that. And totally burning myself out. But now I'm working again and I'm getting that boost of energy. My friend came around today. I'd been reading earlier and she's like, wow, you're just bouncing. And it was like, one of the things I think that we tend to forget is we don't want to disturb someone when they're struggling, when they're going through cancer, when they're going through, even if it's heart problems or any kind of ill health. We don't, but people need that. We need that interaction. We need to be useful. We need to be needed. We're social creatures. And so I think it's really important, even if your friend is sick, to say, do you want to do this? So when I was struggling a lot more than I am now, my friends would turn up with cake and I'd make the coffee. And so I was still getting that interaction. That I'm working, I've got like all this energy. I changed my lights, which is probably not helping with the video. But we've got to be really careful that in our desire to be kind and to be thoughtful and to be considerate of our friends, that we're not actually ostracizing them or making them lonely or taking away their energy. One of my big things I've noticed is, because of how I work, and I predominantly work from home, I'd always clean my house before I worked, and then coming out the other end, my house needs such a good scrub, because I wasn't doing it to prepare for work every day. But all of that builds up your stamina, it builds up, and it is a necessary part of being who we are. And I think your friend might be in pain or they might be struggling, but that doesn't mean ostracize them, and it also doesn't mean interfere. And for those like me, it definitely doesn't mean give sympathy, because I always warn people, give me sympathy and I'll give you a black eye, because it's just, no, don't. But as I said, I am slowly getting better. My stamina isn't as much as I would like, but when I work, I'm energized and I feel useful and I've done something that I love. And when I was going through it, I really wanted to get on and say, stop taking my life force away from me. I understand you being considerate, I understand you being kind, but you're taking my life force away from me. And now I'm working again. I do say, if your friends are sick, do be aware that what you see as kindness or compassion or empathy, you may actually be taking something much bigger away from them, and they may need that interaction. They may need someone to vent to. They may just need it to be, things to be normal. You know, we normally go out for lunch on a Friday. Come on, I'll pick you up. If we're on medication, we can't drive, just go pick them up. Still try and keep that normality for them. Your life does not change to lollipops and rainbows at the end of any ill health journey. And sometimes it can be quite depressing to go back into the life that you've had, and be aware that feeling that way is perfectly normal. And if it is too much for you, then go and see a doctor, go and see a counsellor, go and get help, because life is hard, and sometimes life is a little bit of a struggle. And I mean, when I'm talking about mental health, I'm not talking about schizophrenia or bipolar. I'm talking about just feeling blue, or just feeling sad, or just feeling as well you don't have direction, and that's okay to get help with too. Okay, thank you for your time, and I will be in touch again soon. Thank you to those who have started making bookings and coming back. You have no idea how much difference you are making to my life. I have the energy to do things, and I feel so good. I'm just like, wow, this is what I've been missing, what I've been needing, and I really, really appreciate it. Okay, love and blessings. Bye, guys.